The topic of my sharing today is investing in happiness. I'm sure many of us here have experience in some sort of investment, be it property, shares, commodities, etc., etc. I was a finance student during school days, and at that time I was always very amazed by the number of investment opportunities in the market. And then we learned in class, before we invest, right, we have to consider many factors, the risk factors, the capital outlay, the liquidity factors, many things to consider before we even part with our money. And then we also learn, to use ROI to measure the success of our investment. So the question is, how many of us invest in happiness? Probably some will argue, you make money, from the investment, then we're going to use the money to buy happiness. That is investing in happiness, isn't it? But then again, some of our investment fail, right? Then we become investing in unhappiness, isn't it? So is there a way that we can invest directly into happiness? Just like those that durian lovers, they say 猫山王 is 包价, right? So is there any investment that is 包价 one? That means we invest, confirm, chop, guaranteed. We have happiness. I have a friend, Brother Lim. He invested in the bridge in Myanmar. This bridge connects 9 villages together. And then in those rural villages, transport is a big issue. And during monsoon, sometimes the road become dangerous or even impossible or inaccessible to cross. And it so happened during the opening ceremony of the bridge, MediaCorp was there to film this documentary, Find Me a Singaporean 4, featuring one of very hard-working brother, but goes by the name of Brother Chan, who is stationed in Myanmar to oversee our humanitarian projects. So the host, Belinda, actually asked this Brother Lim, what makes him do that? He said, in Chinese, he 投资快乐, which literally means investing in happiness. The term strikes me, 投资快乐, I like it. That is investing in happiness. So that gives me the inspiration to use that as the topic for my sharing today. Investing in happiness. And I'm sure his bridge will have a special name. I call it Bridge of Happiness. Because according to the Buddha, he said in the Samyutta, as cool water in the desolate place evaporates without being drunk, so when the scoundrel acquires wealth, he neither enjoys himself nor gives. But when the wise man obtains wealth, he enjoys himself and does his duty, having supported his kin. Free from blame, that noble man goes to a heavenly state. I'm sure this bridge of happiness will bring a lot of happiness to the villagers in Myanmar, but also it will give Brother Lim a lot of happiness both in this life and in the next. Let me share with you a Zen story about this venerable Chan Master Mo Hsien, who lived in 1846 to 1920. So this devotee had a very, this Chan Master had a very devoted devotee, lay disciple. So one day this lay disciple went to see Master Mo Hsien, and then he told him, Master, my wife is a real miser. She is very stingy. She does not give a single cent, even to charity. Can you come to my house and talk to her? Very compassionately, Master Mo Hsien agreed. So the next day, Master Mo Hsien went to the lay devotee's house. And true to a miserly nature, the lady never even offered a cup of tea to the master. So the master asked the lady, Madam, if my hand is always closed tightly like this, what will you think? Oh, Master, if your hand is always closed in this manner, something must be wrong with it. It is deformed. Then Master Mo Xian, I echo after her, yes, it is deformed. Then Master Mo Xian asked her again, Madam, if my hand is always wide open like that, what will you think of it? The lady replied, Master, if your hand is always wide open like this, it is deformed too. Master Mo Xian replied, exactly, madam. A hand that's always like this and a hand that's always like this are both deformed. This is the same way as we use money. A mind that's always like that, only think of getting money and think nothing of giving. The mind is deformed. Likewise, if a mind is always like this, always think of spending, and never think of saving, it is deformed too. So Master Mo Xian added, money should flow like a smooth current. When it comes in, it should flow out too. There should be a balance in your receiving and giving. So we said the Dharma is antithetical. Just now we chanted. You see the fruits immediately. So my friend, this brotherly had so much joy when he did the opening ceremony. The big man like him, shed tears. So I believe a lot of us have this kind of experience. When we do something good, we feel a lot of joy in our heart. We donate to charity, we see how it benefited the poor, the less privileged. We feel so much joy in our heart, isn't it? So that brings us a lot of happiness. And this is not what I said. This is said by, finding by researchers. I said, volunteering may make people happier, study said. They say, improve your mental health and help you live longer. Wow, isn't that great? Live longer. And then lower levels of depression, increased life satisfaction and enhanced well-being. Then another research. Reduce depression and anxiety and increase personal well-being and happiness. Isn't that great? And let's see what Mark Zuckerberg has said. He said, to me, happiness is doing something meaningful that helps people and that I believe in with people I love. And I especially highlight to you what he said further, which I think makes a lot of sense. He said, I think lots of people confuse happiness with fun. I don't believe it is possible to have fun every day, but I do believe it is possible to do something meaningful that helps people every day. So if you want to improve your well-being, if you want to be happy, I'm sure BF have a lot of volunteer forms, right? Later you better enroll in happiness. Start to come to volunteer for services and things like that. Okay, I think Brother Vincent later on can start to give out happiness sheets, I call it. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to look at the central teachings of Buddhism, the Four Noble Truths. Some scholars they are disturbed by the fact that dukkha, or unsatisfactoriness, is being discussed as the first noble truth in Buddhism. So they are inclined to hold the wrong view that Buddhism is pessimistic in its outlook. However, when we look at the teachings of the Buddha, for 45 years, he has been teaching us how to invest our time, our effort, our money to find happiness. In other words, we are all born to learn to be happy. We have the skill, we have the abilities, but whether we want to acquire that, we want to invest our time, our effort to acquire that skill, it is up to us. So in Buddhism, we talk about two kinds of happiness. The first is the temporary pleasure you derive primarily from material comfort. And that includes the positive emotions we experience through personal relationships, worldly accomplishment, and social status. And the next is the enduring comfort that results from the development of mind. And that requires the thorough transformation of the mind from the mundane to the supermundane. And from our daily experiences, we don't have to look far. We just observe ourselves. You see, the latter form is more superior because when our mind is very calm, very peaceful, I think we can make do with certain minor physical discomfort. Okay, pain a little bit. It's okay, no big deal. But then, when our mind is agitated, we are angry, we are disappointed, we are sad. Even I give you the best facilities, you won't find peace, you won't find happiness in it. So, it is not sufficient, not good enough to just practice generosity. It is not good enough if we just observe the precepts. We have to develop mental cultivation. We have to develop the skill to train our mind so that we can be truly happy. Let me share with you this sutta, the Kuddadanta Sutta from the Digha Nikaya Sutta number 5, and see what the Buddha talked about this gradual path in this sutta. So the people during the Buddha's time aim to go heaven. To them, that is the ultimate. And they invest a lot of time, a lot of money in making sacrifices. And the bigger the sacrifices means the more potent it is. So people who are, the rich will go and, conduct a lot of big sacrifices. And once there was this very rich Brahmin, he wanted to perform a sacrifice. And this is the number of animals he wanted to sacrifice, to offer to the god. This I plucked from the sutras, exact numbers. So it so happened that the Buddha came to his village, and the Brahmin decided to visit the Buddha to ask him for advice on how best to perform the sacrifice. Now, of course, the Buddha advocated against the killing of animals, and he gives a new interpretation to the concept of sacrifices. So the Brahmin Kuddadanta asked him, is there a sacrifice that is less troublesome, less exertion, and yet more fruitful? The Buddha said, yes. And what is that? Offering of 4 requisites to bhikkhus of high morality. Then again, Kuddadanta asked him the same question again. So following the sutta followed with the series of exchanges between Kuddadanta and the Buddha. So I will not go through that. So I will just give you what the Buddha mentioned. So bearing in mind that the latter is more superior than the former. So the Buddha gave a list. You can offer monastery to the Sangha of order. Observance of the 5 precepts. Going forth from the home to homeless life. Become perfected in morality. Accomplished in the 4 jhanas. And equipped with higher knowledge resulting in the realization of extinction of defilements. So basically, the sutta realized, the Buddha actually, the sutta actually bring forward a message that the zest and bliss that arise in the meditative mind is more superior than the pleasures dependent upon the grosser senses. But that's not the ultimate. The ultimate is the abandonment of toxic mental states. That is the root cause of our suffering. So we always hear people talk about detox body, right? I have friends email here, email there, teach me how to many ways to detox body, But now we never talk about detoxing our mind, right? It's not detox. No formula. Actually, the Buddha gave us many formulas to detox our mind. It's just that we blinded too much sense on our eyes, cannot see. So the Buddha actually gave us a lot of ways to detox our mind. So before we reach the ultimate detox state, how are we going to practice this detoxification of mind in our daily practices? So now, today you go back, you can also send to your friend detoxification formula for the mind. So what can we do? First of all, we can invest in positive thinking. The Buddha said, right, all that we are is the result of what we have taught. The mind is everything, what we think we become. Yeah, exactly. Mind is the forerunner of everything, right? Yeah, if you look at Dhammapada verse 1 and 2, it says very clearly, if you want to suffer, that's what we do lah. Suffering follows the evildoer. Mind precedes all knowables. Minds, their chief. Mind-made are they. If with a corrupted mind, one should either speak or act, dukkha follows caused by that. So as does the wheel, the ox, wolf. However, if we want to be happy, we just follow verse 2. Because happiness follows the doer of good. It said, mind precedes all knowables. Minds, their chief, mind-made are they. If with a clear and confident mind, one should speak and act as one's shadow never departing. Yeah, it's very simple. If you want to be happy, we need to have positive thinking. We need to have a wholesome mind. So we have to invest in making the right effort. Yeah, we can practice right effort by first avoiding and then clearing our mind of all these negative or toxic states. And once it is achieved, we can train up the practice of positive thinking. Yeah? So let me, before that, so why is it important for us to invest in positive thinking? Because it helps to put a stop to our unhappiness, especially during adversity. If you look at those people that suffer from depression, this is because they never pick up this skill. Every time they think of the negative, they have their negative thought, they go deeper and deeper into their negative emotion until one day the hole is too big for them to jump out of it and they are stuck. And that's why people go into depression. Because of the failure to switch from a negative mind to a positive mind. And positive thinking also let us see hope and light at the end of the tunnel. So it is very important to be equipped with the skill first. Let me share with you this Chinese saying. They say, 相由心生, right? They say, one's appearance is a reflection of one's mind. You see, most of us, maybe we want to look pretty handsome, right? You know, always look like 25 instead of 52. Yeah, always, everybody, when you ask about your age, right, you always, sensitive question, yeah. Why? Because, you all want to look young and beautiful, right? So, if you want to look young and beautiful, no need you can save the money on these expensive beauty salon and all those, right? Just look after our thoughts, right? And after all, our appearance is a reflection of our mind. So, there's this very famous Chinese poet and writer, but goes by the name of Su Tongpo. This Su Tongpo loves to argue with this Zen master Fo Ying. So one day he visited Master Fo Ying, and then he asked him, Master, what do I look like to you? Then Master Fo Ying said, oh, you look like a Buddha. Su Tongpo was very happy. So Master Fo Ying asked him, so what do I look like to you? Then Su Tongpo looked at his sitting posture and his yellow robe, right? He said, you look like a pile of dung, cow dung. So this Master Fo Ying, he was not angry, he just smiled. And Su Tongpo thought he won the debate. He's very happy. So he sang his way home. And then when he reached his home, his sister asked him, brother, wow, why are you so happy today? So Su Tongpo related the incident to him. And then Su Tongpo said, of course the Buddha was definitely more superior than the cow dung. Then I won this debate today. I finally won the debate today. So the sister looked at him and said, "Brother, not only have you lost the debate, you have lost miserably. Master Foying has Buddha in his heart. That's why everything he see, also Buddha. You have countdown in your mind. That's why everything you see also countdown, you know. So brother and sister, whether you want to see Buddha or countdown, better reflect on this. Next time you want to open your mouth, better think twice. So it's so important we have to look after our thoughts. So let me share with you how strong negative thoughts can affect us also. You see, there was this story about this man, Nick Zigmund, who worked as a crew in a train. This Nick is a very good natured man. He only had a very serious flaw. He was a notorious worrier. Everything he also worry, you know. And then he usually, from A to Z, he will worry about everything, and then he usually fear the worst. So there was once the company had a special event, so they were allowed to go back an hour earlier. And unfortunately, Nick was locked in the refrigerator boxcar. So he panicked, because, being a very notorious worrier, panicked. So he banged the door, shouted for his colleague to come and help me, thinking that, if I can't get out, I freeze to death in here. So he was like, shouted, bang on the door so loud, but unfortunately, nobody heard him. So he was left alone in this cabin. So in order to let his family members knew about the ordeal that he went through, he looked for a knife and he etched the words on the floor. It's so cold. My body is getting numb. If I could just go to sleep, this may be my last words. So the next day, his colleague found his body. And an autopsy revealed that every physical sign of his body indicated that he was freezed to death. The irony is that the refrigerator unit was not working. So in fact, he was killed by the power of worry. So you see how strong thoughts are. Let me share with you another example. During the Second World War, the psychologists, they took the prisoner of camp and put them in a very silent room. And then they used a needle to poke a certain part of the body. And then they used the other end of the needle was actually closed. But they created the illusion that the blood is actually dripping out from the body. So they put the tap with the water there. See, tick, 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 tick. Seems like the blood is draining out from the body. And after 3 days, the prisoners of war was dead. So the doctor revealed that he was killed by the power of worry. So I think if the blood goes like that, tick, 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 I think with few hours, heart attack and die. So you see, this is how strong our negative thoughts are. In fact, I think in our modern days, a lot of patients that are diagnosed with terminal disease, sometimes I think they are not killed by the disease themselves, but by their worrying mind. They worry so much. Their body can't heal because the mind will affect the body. So a lot of time, that is why people killed by this worrying mind rather than by their disease. So imagine the green face is us. So when we have a negative thought that comes to us, we have a choice whether we let it consume us and then we get angry, disappointed the whole day, or we can take it as a learning experience. In other words, once the negative thoughts appear in our mind, we can be aware of it and replace it by a positive one. But of course, this is not easy. sometimes the thought comes back again. So we got to repeat and repeat and repeat the process. But that needs mindfulness. So you can't just say, I'm going to do it today, and then you want to do it perfectly well. It's not possible, because this have to go through a lot of effort and time to practice that. But you got to start small. We got to start now, so that when we need that skill, it's at our fingertips. So start to practice at this very moment. Can't say I want to learn swimming, right? And then you read about theoretically, and then you want to swim. It's impossible, isn't it? Yeah. The second way is to ignore negative or non-constructive comments. Yeah, because different people basically have different perceptions. We are all conditioned differently through our upbringing and things like that. So my view might be different from yours, but not necessarily it might be wrong. And also, sometimes comments are based on deluded mind, right? We are all still having our deluded mind, so maybe comments may come from that as well. So I'm sure everybody knows about this, right? It has been said so many times about the story of the donkey and the couple. So is there another alternative that is free from blame, Anybody has any good solution? Some people say carry the donkey, lor. So if you carry the donkey, people will start to also say, well, you're so stupid, you go and carry the donkey, all sorts of comments will come again. So that's why the Buddha said, they who speak much are blamed. They who speak a little are blamed. They who are silent are also blamed. In this world, there is none who is not blamed. So, why, you don't have to worry too much. Yeah? After all, you talk also cannot blame. No, don't talk also. Yeah? There is no perfect way. And Ajahn Chah said, when people call you a dog, you look at your bottom. Yeah? If you have a tail, then you have no right to be angry because you're a dog, what? But if you look at your back and realize, hey, no tail, then people are not talking about you, why bother? Isn't it? And the third one, you can also invest in good spiritual friendship, or what we call the Kalyana meters. There is a Chinese saying, 学好3年，学坏3天. That means if you want to be good, you need 3 long years. But if you want to be bad, you only take 3 days. Wow. So you see how thinking are contagious, especially the bad ones. So it is very important we choose the right kind of friend. Because the Buddha said, an insincere and evil friend is more to be feared than a wild beast. A wild beast may wound your body, but an evil friend will wound your mind. And I like this picture because it tells 1,000 words. A lot of time, when people say, hey, your friend call you, hey, let's go for a drink. Okay, on. Wow, very quick, very fast. But when people call you, hey, Sunday, let's go BF for Dharma talks. I cannot, Sunday, I got to bring my kids to school, to tuition. Sunday, I cannot, I have family outing and this and that, Suddenly, when come for going for meditation retreat, going for Dharma talk, suddenly we become very busy, But then my friend asks go pubbing, clubbing, can, anytime. You see, we are always like that. Yeah, isn't it? So, and then, I have the experience also. Sometimes you tell your friend, hey, let's go for retreat. Let's go for Dharma talk. They call Ian Nielsen, always come and call me to go Dharma talk. Come and go for retreat. So you see, learn to appreciate people. They ask you to go for Dharma talks, to go for retreat, because these are truly your friends, If not, next time you go clubbing and pubbing, next time you go to the the lower ramp also can pub and dance together lah. You see, that's why I said that this picture is very meaningful. Yeah, don't worry, you'll still see them next life lah. So the Buddha said, or rather in the Therigatha, he said, one who is clever should make no friends amongst the malicious, the angry, the envious, or those who delight in the misfortunes of others. Truly, contact with the bad is evil. One who is clever should make friends with those with faith, the pleasant, the wise, and those with great learning. Truly, contact with the good is blessed. So, brothers and sisters, it's our choice, whether we want to be smart or not, we want to be clever or not. We must know how to choose our friend wisely. Our family members, if not so wise, cannot help lah. But cannot be helped. But friends is very important, because realizing an untrained mind is easily influenced by the surrounding. Look at your mind; it's easily influenced. I remember when I went for retreat, I watched how the mind is influenced. I went into a particular washroom for several days to shower and do whatever. And then suddenly because there was an occasion where the room is occupied, so I had to switch to another room, a slightly different layout and things like that. Straight away, I find my mind very agitated. So you see, because the condition has changed, and for the past few days, I've been conditioning my mind to use the room, and with that familiar layout. Suddenly, when I need to switch the room to another bathroom, my mind is very agitated. So you see how easily, within the few days only, how easily our mind is conditioned. So be very careful how we never know what are the external factors that affect us if we are not mindful. So before we train our mind to be like that, we have to be very selective lah. Train our mind first. And next, you can also invest in cultivating good attitude. Some people lead contented and happy lives on a modest amount of money. Others complain and complain and complain that the amount is too small. Can't buy what they want. So precisely the same circumstances can make you happy or miserable depending on our attitudes. Once Gandhi was boarding the train, and then the train moves, and he accidentally dropped his shoes. So because the train was moving, he couldn't went down to pick up his shoes. So what he did, he took off the other shoes and threw it to where the first one had landed. So the friend was very surprised. Hey, why do you do that? So he said, the poor man who finds the shoe lying on the track will now have a pair he can use. So instead of mourning over his loss, the change in attitude actually makes him very happy. And also he makes the other party, the poor man who finds the shoes, very happy. He's like, wow, God sent shoes coming. He can have a new pair of shoes. So you see, the right attitude can make us so happy. Even if you lose something, doesn't matter. Recently, I read an article in Chinese. It said, a very interesting article about upbringing. It said, if a kid were to accidentally hit a table, the Chinese mother will go and hit the table and say, naughty table, don't cry, son, don't cry. Yeah, the table is naughty, so they hit the table to pacify the son. And then the Japanese mother will tell the son, okay, come, you go around the table again and see. You see, usually when you hit the table, there are three possibilities. First, you ran too fast and couldn't stop in time. Secondly, your mind is elsewhere. Thirdly, you're not looking at where you are going. So there are these three possibilities. Okay, come, you go around the table and see which one is yours. Wow, I say, wow, this is a very smart mother, man. Very good upbringing. So, what the Chinese mother essentially doing is teaching this mentality, everything go wrong, others fault other tables fault others fault the table is not moving, definitely, if you go to hit the table, definitely it's our fault, right? Whereas the Japanese mother is telling the son to reflect, okay, think, acknowledge which one is yours, and to make a man come, you run, you walk again, and see, make sure you don't hit the table. So the same mentality, we can use it on our mind. Every time when something is wrong, Are you going to treat your mind like the Japanese mother or the Chinese mother? Yeah, that is a very good point for reflection. The Dalai Lama said, when you think everything is somebody else's fault, you will suffer a lot. Yes, it's very true. Because there is no possibilities for us to train our mind. Everything is also others. We are perfect. Oh, Alma, no need to train anymore, man. Yeah? And finally, we can also invest time to learn and practice the teachings of the Buddha. Researchers from several universities have separately confirmed that practicing Buddhists are calmer and happier. The key word is practicing Buddhists, not Buddhists. So take note, practicing Buddhists. Okay? So why? Okay. Because they said practicing Buddhists are more contented and positive. And they also appreciate what they have and make most of everything that comes along. So we know Buddhism is made up of 3 P. Pariyatti, Patipatti, and Pativeda. Pariyatti, that means the learning of the Dhamma. Patipatti, we have to cultivate, we have to practice, and Pativeda, the realization after the practice. So, we cannot just stop at Pariyatti, that means learn, and then finish, our job is done. No, we still got to do the second part, the Patipatti. We still need to practice. It's only through practicing that we can do these 4. I mean, matter of fact, life is never smooth sailing, right? We have ups and downs in our lives. But because if one has practice, one will know how to face it when the problem comes up and come to terms with it, resolve it, and finally let it go. That is through the practice. That is through the cultivation of the mind. And then the source of our happiness actually lies deep within. We just need to look at ourselves to find. The treasure is in us, so we have to unearth it. So we have to make the effort to unearth the treasure that is found within ourselves. And don't tell me you're going to do it tomorrow. Next year, New Year resolution, we are very fond of writing. New Year, I must be very mindful, and from now on, all the New Year resolutions. That one, we won't do it. So we have to start to do it at this present moment. Benjamin Franklin, a diplomat as well as a scientist in the US, wrote, you think today is early enough? Let's say what he said. Tomorrow I'll reform. The fool does say, today's too late. The wise did it yesterday. So we better do it now. Don't procrastinate. Thank you.
Wow, very inspiring sharing by Sister Lei Hoon. Okay, may we say 3 sadhu to Sister for the inspiring sharing? Thank you, Sister. Now, Q&A section. So any comment, any question, maybe, please free to do so. Question?
How does letting go leads to happiness? I mean, in this topic.
Okay, first of all, I think we don't go too far. We just look at ourselves. What are we attached to? Our family members, our pets, our properties, probably a lot of things that we are attached to. But we realize that these things are not with us forever. One day We'll leave behind our properties, our pets, our family members. And that will bring us a lot of suffering, isn't it? So if we do not yet learn how to let go, to see that letting go doesn't just mean, I don't let go, that is just a very verbal way of speech. But letting go comes from the heart. And the true letting go comes from knowing that all things, all phenomenon things are conditioned. That things arises through cause and conditions. So, we have to practice our meditation. We have to practice watching the mind to show that, to know that all these are conditioned phenomena. And once we can see that all these are conditioned phenomena, we naturally let go. And when we naturally let go, the burden is off. And then we'll find ourselves truly peaceful and happy. Because a lot of time when we say letting go, it's just, we are cycling our mind. Actually, I find it just cycle. But we still, when our loved one pass away, we still suffer so much, That is not letting go. That is bo pian. They leave and then we bo pian and we have to let go because they left us. But if we can see all things are conditioned, even our mind is also conditioned, then naturally we'll just release ourselves from the attachment, and then that is where we truly find happiness. So practice and practice and practice to watch the mind, to see the mind, how the mind is conditioned. Then you realize even ourselves is also conditioned. So there's really nothing to hold on. Then that is we really, truly let go. And then to find the ultimate happiness.
Okay. Any other question, comment, or maybe some feedback?
So on the question that you're saying that going clubbing versus coming for BF meeting, right? Okay. So but then coming for BF meeting, then your friend, those who have who goes to the clubbing may label you as antisocial. So but human being, we need to be social. So what do you think?
I think we need to draw a line. Because we are after all, we are not recluses, right? We are not monks and nuns. We still have our duties or our responsibility, our social relationships with other people. So I think it's between drawing a line. You don't go overboard. If you think that benefits you and you need to have that kind of interaction with others, okay, well, you moderately. The key word is moderately. But ultimately, the choice is yours. You see, what you do in clubbing and pubbing, you talk nonsense. Of course, if you go you talk serious matter, maybe you say, discussing Dharma. Okay lah, can lah. But truly, if you watch the content of the talk, frivolous talk, isn't it? Then we are wasting our time, really. We thought we have a lot of time. We thought we have a lot of time, seriously. Tomorrow I go retreat tomorrow. Next year 5 years later when I quit when my children has grown up when I find a new job there's no not so taxing, I go retreat, I go meditation, I do this, do that. We always wait. The same, you say, never mind we 2 hours go clubbing, pubbing, 2 hours only, every 24 hours, I go 2 hours, never mind, I still got plenty of time. We always have that mentality, but the fact is we don't have time. But of course you say, if you go and de-stress, Okay lah, if that really helps, you're so stressed up, then sit down, meditate half an hour lor, maybe that's more useful. So we are always finding excuses. If your friend label is antisocial, never mind, you come to BF law. I think there are plenty of good friends here, isn't it? That's why I say about choosing of the right friends. If your friend, you don't come antisocial, alamak, this is a friend, never mind. I mean, sorry, I'm very straightforward. Because I know I don't have time. I don't have time. We don't have time. If you think we still have time to go 3 hours clubbing, pubbing, I mean, everybody have their own choice. I mean, we have our own choice. How you want to live your life. Yeah.
Just now you mentioned about this experiment where the prisoners of war, they were put in a room and then they were given the impression that they were bled when actually they were not. Do you have more details, like how many prisoners were involved statistically? Was it just a one-off case, or was it multiple people and a lot of them died through this process?
If I'm not wrong, they did a few, and in fact, I heard that earlier days, in Taiwan, they also practiced that. In the Taiwan prison, they also practiced that. I do not have the details. I came across in those articles on prisoners of war, so I do not have the details, but I heard from friends that it was also practiced in a Taiwan prison. The same thing, but it was, they termed it psychological torture. They called it. The later terms are, yeah, so probably you can look into that if you are more interested to find out more.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that because 2 months ago I was actually admitted to NUH due to some issue. So I was actually treated at the Department of Forest. Yeah, they don't allow me to go even though to toilets by myself, okay? And I'm such a big size and the nurse is so small size, then they're afraid I topple on her and things like that. So during that period of time, even when I want to go down, I must get permission, I must be on the wheelchair. I was actually perfectly fine, okay? But during the 3 days, 2 nights stay, right, it makes me feel so sickly. I felt so sick, yeah. And after I went through all the tests, I'm actually perfectly fine. But during that stay, I'm torturing, my mind is torturing. And I think that I'm sick, I'm very, very sick, yeah. And I start to feel pain and chest pain and things like that. And I feel giddy and sick and very, very sleepy. Actually, I'm fine. The result came out was I was discharged immediately. So when I discharged, I went back home. I do a lot of house chores. I was nothing. I can even go to do a lot of things. So I think that it's really a lot of mind thing. Is the environment that. This is my personal experience. I think environment is very, very important, and like the brother shared, like pubbing and Dharma, right? I used to be a chongster, sorry, I used the word. Those who go pubbing will know this word, okay? So it's the purpose of life. Why do I choose Sunday to come to BF? Is when you go through the wave of life and you know what you want, the purpose of life, and you really focus, and the rest is just your it's just passing by, all this thing. The main thing is that you focus what you want in your purpose of life. Thank you.
Any more question? Feedback? Comment? Or maybe you want to share as well? Okay, if no more question, I will have some announcement.